Welcome to Video Hell Show. I'm Frank, and today we're going to talk about Runaway. Runaway is a made-for-TV movie made in 1989 and put to VHS by a company called Feature Films for Families. They made a lot of family-style videos that were meant to teach lessons and morals to children. I guess they must have aired sometimes on network television, and then when they were put to VHS, they were published by this company and put out. And so I'll start here by reading a little bit off the back. Just worry about yourself, Aramis's embittered aunt tells him when he volunteers to help out handicapped kids. But Aramis is about to learn firsthand the importance of people helping each other. So I don't want to go too far into reading the back because it literally spoils the entire movie. Lady likes to sing. Lady Pie! So we start with some VO from our main character, Aramis, and he's talking to us about how he and his friend, Joseph, like to find things.
You know what I really like to do? Ride the subway. See things. See people. Get out of my neighborhood. Me and my friend Joseph, we collect stuff.
They travel the streets of New York City and the subways looking for stuff to make art out of. They're looking for garbage and junk and anything they can find that's interesting to make into artwork. They say they want to make street art.
We kind of like to think of ourselves as artists.
Joseph, look at that.
That's street art.
I don't know when street art started. Maybe it did start a little bit before the 80s. I don't know if it was popular or not. Now it's very popular. We immediately are introduced to this gentleman who is wheelchair bound, sadly. He looks like a veteran. He's dressed in all army garb. We come to find out later his name is Ralph, played by an actor named Charles S. Dutton that you may recognize from a lot of stuff. He's been in Alien, Seven, The Distinguished Gentleman, Menace to Society. He's been in a lot of really popular things, and I guess this is something that he did kind of early on in his career, maybe even not. Charles S. Dutton comes up, this guy Ralph comes up and talks to them about street art and about, I think he kind of just leads on that he's a street artist too. He looks like he, hangs out in, I believe this is like the Port Authority.
Hey, I'm glad that display caught somebody's eye. How old are you?
13?
Yeah, I think that's how old this artist was when he started.
Aramis and Joseph leave Ralph and they go down into the subway. They find a brand new jacket in the trash. I don't know who's throwing away jackets. I mean, I guess it is the summertime, so maybe if you're really hot.
Go ahead, check this out, Joe. Almost new.
You throw away a jacket. I don't know why you just throw away a jacket. And he goes, oh, look, it's almost brand new. I don't know why the hell you throw away something that nice, but the kid, now he has a new jacket, so that's awesome. So you realize at this point, I don't think they mention it just yet, but maybe they do, Joseph, Aramis's friend, is special needs. They don't make it clear exactly how, but he is special needs. And he likes to hang out with him. He goes down to the group home where Joseph lives, picks him up to go hang out in the afternoons, and the teacher or the woman who runs the place is cool with it. I guess it's not a big problem. And they go have fun for the day. They go find trash to make art out of, and that's kind of what they do. So this is a TV movie. It's 51 minutes, so they get straight to the point. Within the first 5 minutes, our two protagonists run into bullies, the first antagonists.
Hey, homeboy, what you got in them bags?
Just junk.
Let me see.
No, it's mine.
And this always happens in movies of this era. Our good guys always run into some sort of bully who makes problems for them. Joseph goes, Aramis is about to get bullied, and Joseph just grabs the one bully by the back of the neck and messes him up.
Sissy, come on.
What you doing, man?
Oh, careful, Joseph. Don't break his arm. Come on, Joseph.
I mean, I guess this is implying, like a lot of movies of this era, and in general, that people of special needs have extra special strength. Kind of messed up, if you ask me. I think that's kind of a strange stereotype that doesn't really hold that true. Yeah. I don't know. Back then, this is the 80s. This is the late 80s. So they would say a lot of crap like this. They were just, and they just take it for granted, take it for truth. If a kid is special needs, that somehow they have super strength, I guess. And that bully is bigger than him, I think. I mean, Joseph isn't like small, but he's not that big either. He's kind of in the middle. He's growing into being a teenager, it looks like. So he looks like he's maybe a teenager. I don't really know. They don't really say. So after this short encounter with the bullies, I think they kind of imply like, oh, we're going to see you again. Aramis takes Joseph back to the group home where he stays during the day.
Mr. Joseph.
Aramis. You're an hour late, Aramis.
And they have a conversation with the teacher about their garbage art.
Aramis, but this cannot happen again, or I won't be able to let Joseph go out on any more of your collection hunts.
I know. Anyway, we got a lot more stuff for our sculpture.
Oh, I should say you do.
They point at the one trash sculpture they got going on in the front yard, which honestly looks like a tree made of trash.
That is really something.
I don't know what it's supposed to be or what it's supposed to say. They don't ever say. It's just a pile of garbage in the front, but I guess it's cool. I mean, they do stuff like that now. It's technically art. I guess that just depends. So Aramis goes home and you find out that he lives with his aunt. She doesn't seem to like him very much.
Aramis Slake,
Yeah, Aunt May?
you're late again. And just look at this place. You didn't do any of your chores, but I suppose you found time to go collecting some more of that junk.
His aunt, and who you find out her name is Aunt May. She's definitely not as cool as the Aunt May we know from Spider-Man, that's for sure. Aramis is a pretty chill kid, and she just does nothing but talk shit to him.
Well, if you got so much time, get yourself a job. Your mama dumped you on me to run off with some no-good dog of a man, and like a fool, I took you in. So you could waste your time collecting junk with some slow-minded boy.
She makes fun of Joseph. She makes fun of him, his pursuits, his likes, want to make trash sculpture. She just has nothing positive to say to this poor kid. And it makes no sense because he seems like a perfectly good kid. His aunt is just really fucking mean to him for no reason. The aunt complains that he needs to pick up his crap, even though there's really not anything around. And that she needs to go do something and he needs to stay there. And that they have bologna and potato salad in the fridge.
And stop leaving your clothes all over this house. If you get hungry, there's bologna and potato salad in the fridge.
And I mean, I'm gonna be real. That's not a proper dinner to be feeding a kid, number one. But I mean, even so, that's a lot of salt, man. It's a lot of salt. This kid's kidneys are probably all fucked up. Yeah, so bologna and potato salad. She doesn't even mention that there's bread. I guess he's just gonna make bologna roll-ups and eat potato salad. I mean, I've done it before, and I'll do it again. But I'm an adult and I can make that decision for myself if I want to eat like shit. But this poor kid gets fed like that from his mom. He'd be better off eating a box of cereal, I think. I don't even know, man. He's obviously not in the best situation with his aunt. He could be a lot better off. Again, seems like a great kid. She kind of leaves off that he's not supposed to hang out with Joseph anymore, even though she doesn't really give any solid reasoning why.
And I don't want you fooling with Joseph and that junk anymore. You hear me?
She just insults him a bunch and says don't hang out with him. I mean, that's pretty fucked up if you ask me. So immediately the next day, of course, Aramis is back hanging out with Joseph looking for more trash. Why would he listen to his aunt? She sucks. Aramis goes over some rules with Joseph and says, don't pick it up if it ain't free. You know, we're going to go and, pick up some more shit.
Start the hunt now, Joseph. But remember, like before, don't get too far away from me, and don't pick up nothing that ain't free. You hear me, Joseph?
Joseph picks up this lady's glove off a bench after she walks away in the subway.
Joseph!
Wants to return it, brings it to Aramis, who scolds him first, but then realizes what he wants to do, and gives the glove back to the lady, who then...
Ma'am, you left your glove on the bench.
Why, thank you, young man. This is very kind of you.
Gives them money for it as a reward. She seems like she's from somewhere else. Gives them money for a reward, and then they go to buy ice cream, because that's what Joseph wants to do.
She gave me this, a dollar bill. You found the glove, so you get the reward. Ice cream? You want ice cream? Well, the $1's yours. I guess we can get you what you want. Let's go find the place.
Where we run into this lady who becomes a kind of core character in the story. A woman named Charlene, who they call Charlie. And she works at a diner.
Oh, gentlemen, what can I fill your palace with today?
Either in the Port Authority or Penn Station. They don't, again, it's hard to tell exactly back in the 80s. And he goes and they buy an ice cream, but they don't have enough money for two. So she realizes the situation and gives enough money from her pocket to get them both an ice cream.
How much is ice cream?
75 cents for a cone. All right.
Just the one cone.
Oh, you don't have enough money, huh? Well, it don't seem quite right to have two kids and only one cone now, does it? Tell you what I'll do. You give me the $1, and I'll see if I can stretch it out into 2 cones.
To the chagrin of her boss, who seems to be a stick in the mud.
You giving away my ice cream, Charlie? Huh?
Don't worry, Casey. It's paid for.
He's a real asshole about this. But she's really chill and buys them both an ice cream because they seem like two nice little kids. Come to find out, this is just a theme that happens throughout the entire damn movie. That this boss is just not chill with this woman and helping out people, I guess. I mean, they needed to have, I guess, crabby people. Uncool with that because it's New York, I guess. Whatever. We get a quick shot of Charles Dutton, Ralph, again, sketching some people in the subway. We always see the same people. This is a huge city, and we keep seeing the same people everywhere anyone goes. So he's there sketching a woman playing violin. They get on a train. Go back to Harlem. They want to go home and take Joseph back to the group home. They get off the train, see the bullies. Again, insanely small city for someplace that's so big. They keep running into the same people constantly. They get off, see the bullies, sneak back to the home.
Oh, not today.
We get back to the group home, and for some reason Aunt May is there, and coming out with the teacher out of the front door.
Oh, it's nice. Well, there you two are. We were beginning to worry about you.
Hi, Miss Harvey.
They get into a short conversation about how well Joseph is doing with Aramis now that they're, hanging out together. Aunt May's having none of this shit.
And with your grades, you should be worrying about yourself instead of out there wasting time with Joseph. I'm doing okay. Okay is not good enough if you want to make something of yourself. Now you get on home.
Joseph goes back in the building and scolds Aramis again in front of the teacher, who seems like completely uncool with this, which is, I would be too.
After school, you make sure that your clothes are picked up, that those dishes are washed and put away, and your homework is done.
Yes, ma'am.
You could tell Aunt May is a straight up terrible person at this point. To me, she's irredeemable. We'll get there, though. Aramis is on the way to go pick up Joseph again the next day and runs into these damn bullies again right in front of the spot. They don't really establish it properly.
Look what we got here.
And gets captured by these bullies and calls out for Joseph, who just happens to be across the street. Outside, not inside the group home waiting. He's just on the street. I guess they just let Joseph out sometimes. Seems impractical and unrealistic. I don't think they really thought about it. They're just like, hey, cool, he's out on the street now. Whatever. And Aramis is like, Joseph! Have it!
Joseph!
Joseph runs across the street after the bullies and everything. Aramis runs into an empty lot. Bullies give chase, follow in, and Joseph is running not too far behind. He calls out to Joseph. He's on top of some mound. Calls out to Joseph for help, and Joseph runs across the street.
Joseph, help!
And gets hit by a fucking garbage truck.
Joseph, look out!
Aramis calls out to Joseph. Joseph!
Joseph, help!
Mommy! You just watched a kid die on film, on TV. This was network TV. Kid just got killed. On TV. Kid just got killed in a kid's movie. Whoa. So yeah, a kid gets killed in a kid's movie. Although, they don't immediately tell you this. And I don't know if he's alive or dead at this point, but you can assume he's dead. Kid gets hit by a garbage truck, and immediately, 0.2 seconds later, cops are there. and they give chase because some woman shouts, "That's the kid that yelled out."
Hey, officer, get that kid! He was the one that called!
Hey, kid, come here!
And I guess, I don't know how the hell she knew that, and even if how that matters, and so they start chasing Aramis, when that would never happen. I mean, maybe it would, but I mean, like, this is fucking crazy. He was calling for help, and the kid got hit by a garbage truck, and how is that anyone's fault other than the kid for not looking, even though it's terrible, but why would that be in this movie? And I have no idea what's... Cut back to Aunt May's apartment, where the teacher is there, because they're wondering where these kids are at this point, because Aramis just runs off.
Miss Lawson, aren't you interested in where Aramis is?
Of course I am. He's run away before, and he'll do it again.
And Aunt May's shitting on Joseph to the teacher, which is fucking crazy.
I'm worried that something has happened to him.
None of this would have happened if you hadn't had him running around with some half-witted...
And then they wonder where these kids are at, and Aunt May's like, "Get out of my house," or she says something insulting, and teacher leaves. So we come back to Aramis in the train station or Port Authority. I think it's Port Authority, and he's obviously hungry. He has no food. He's watching people eat. Goes back to the diner and sits down at some dude's table who just got up from eating, so he can grab the coffee that's left. There's no food, but he just grabs some coffee. Waitress sees and walks over to give him some more coffee because she's a nice lady.
Well, look who's blown back into town. How you doing this morning?
Okay, I guess.
Now the cup refills around the house.
If the first one's paid for.
It's okay, Casey.
She offers the kid some coffee, and the boss talks some shit again. It keeps happening. Ralph comes up and tries to ask the kid about his deal, pisses the kid off because he wants to basically make it on his own, and kid runs away.
So you're my competition, huh? Well, you won't be for long if you don't watch it.
I can take care of myself.
Aramis is in the subway tunnels before the platforms and runs into some shady-looking dudes dressed in all black, and one's wearing a trench coat and black sunglasses, and they're obviously bad guys.
Hey, what's happening, my man?
Talking to me?
Yeah, how's it going?
And they want him to, I guess, be like a drug mule or transport money or something on the train from where they're at downtown.
Got a nice little gig for you.
Doing what?
Making a little run downtown to deliver a package for me.
I don't know nothing about downtown. I live uptown.
And Ralph comes up and sees this going on and scares these dudes off, says, "Get away from this kid."
Get out the kid's face.
Hey, okay. Have it your way. Later, man.
Don't you know that them punks was trying to get you to carry some drugs for them?
And Aramis gets mad again and runs away again. This is within 2 minutes. Like, the kid can't get the hint that this dude's trying to help. He's obviously lived a life. He's obviously seen some shit, except the help, but I guess he's being stubborn, which is understandable. I did stuff like that when I was a kid, too, I guess. Everybody did. So we get some more VO of Aramis talking to Joseph, but we still don't know what happened to Joseph. He's talking to him as though he's dead.
Yeah, I can take care of myself. Just like I took care of you, Joseph. How bad are you hurt? Are you in the hospital? Or maybe back at the Friendship Center? I gotta go back. I gotta know how bad you're hurt.
Aramis hasn't been home in a while, and then he runs into the goddamn bullies again. And they are everywhere. No matter where he goes. Somehow they are omnipresent. They are legit everywhere he goes. It doesn't matter where.
Hey, it's the winner. Come on, get here. Come on, here.
It's this doesn't happen. It can't happen. It's just not. This is not realistic. I mean, you can run into people sometimes, but not all the time. Everywhere. It's just not happening. So Aramis runs from the bullies into the train tunnel and finds a place to shack up and pass out because he hasn't eaten and he's exhausted.
Joseph.
So then, back on the street at some maybe same day, later that day, another day, teacher runs into these bullies, who again are fucking everywhere, and she says basically, "Where is this kid? Where is he? Where is Joseph? Where are these kids?" I know you know where everyone is. And they're basically like, yeah, we do.
You guys are smarter than that. You know where everybody is.
Maybe we do. Maybe we don't. Listen, lady, we just ain't got time for this.
Look, I just want to know if he's okay.
Look, we didn't hurt him. Tell you one thing, lady. If he got in our way, you wouldn't have to worry about him, okay?
That's how the writers just explain this. I mean, they're essentially God, but a bully. I guess you could make the case that God is a bully. I don't know. So then she says to them, it sounds like he got away from you guys. They get insulted and give a tip-off, I guess. So back in the Ninja Turtle lair, we get more VO from Aramis about Joseph, talking to him and being sad and depressed about not being able to go home, and it's just awful. This is a kid's movie, by the way. Aramis starts going through the Port Authority and realizing that the stuff that he used to do with Joseph, this collecting trash for sculptures, is something that the homeless do on a regular basis, and that these skills have made him uniquely qualified to live on the streets.
Look at these people. Some of them are here all the time. They must know something. Something I don't. If you were here, Joe, we could figure out a way. It's just like us. Like when we were collecting. If you're smart, you could take the stuff other people throw away and use it.
So he starts talking to Joseph about that, his VO, and goes on to complete a mission. He finds out that people are leaving newspapers around everywhere, and that he can resell these newspapers because of this day's edition. People read them, leave them. He picks them all up and goes to then sell them on the train platform and elsewhere, and turns this into quite the racket throughout the rest of the time.
Have you got a post left? I said, have you got a post left? Thank you.
That he spends in the subway. We get a couple of scenes where Aramis goes back to the diner, talks to the woman, gets more food, pisses off the owner again, or pisses off the manager again. At some point Aramis decides that he wants to make a special sculpture to honor Joseph.
I found some really good stuff for a new project, Joseph. It's gonna be for you.
So he goes to find more trash for that, I guess. Back to the paper selling, back to the Ninja Turtle lair, back to paper selling, back to diner, back to Ninja Turtle lair, back to selling, back to Ninja Turtle lair, back to house, back to turtles, back to this, back. We cut back to now a homeless child hanging out in the subway, and he has a terrible dream, slow-mo dream from the camera's perspective, not his own, from the camera's perspective, about his friend Joseph dying. As the dream reaches its terrible apex, Aramis wakes up to find out that his home is now flooding from the ceiling. I guess there's like a rainstorm or something, and all of his stuff is ruined, except for the project that he was working on for his deceased friend Joseph. At this point, I also realize we never see any rats in the subway where he's living. I've worked in New York for a while, and there are rats. Whenever you go into the subway, there are definitely rats down there. I see them almost every time I go down. He doesn't encounter one rat. This is the 80s, before they were actually trying to get rid of him actively. Don't ever see a rat. Highly unrealistic. We get a little scene where Aramis is washing up in the Port Authority bathroom, and a bum steals his stuff.
Hey! Give me that! Give me back my stuff! Hey, stop! Somebody stop him! He's got my stuff! Somebody stop him!
I guess that's probably semi-common. Keep getting cut-ins of Aramis talking to Joseph, but we have no idea what happened to him. I guess he's assumed dead at this point. If you'd read the back of the box, spoiler alert, Joseph is dead. They never ever, by the way, it's still not mentioned whether or not, no one confirms it. Not the teacher, the mother, or Aunt May, no one confirms whether or not this has happened to this point. We cut to Aramis back upstairs inside the Port Authority, and now he's with all the skelliest looking people. And since he's lost everything, he decides he wishes he could just like fade away.
I ain't got no home down here. I can't go back up there. I want to quit. Just leave it all. Just keep fading and fading till I just disappear.
Which is fucking crazy. This is a kid's movie, and this kid basically wishes he was dead, or they make a suicide reference that he would just get Thanos snapped and fade into oblivion. And that's what we get in a kid's TV movie, by the way. This is a kid's TV movie, and this is what we're getting. So we get back to the diner. He's talking to the waitress. He's lost everything. All he's got is this project that he made for Joseph.
Aramis, are you all right?
Okay, I guess. I don't have any money. I got ripped off.
Well, I'm sure KC can spring a cup of coffee considering the money you spent down here already.
And Ralph comes up. They start having a discussion. Earlier, Ralph was just trying to find out the kid's name and finally finds out. So then he says he's not going to sell him out, but we know he's going to. He kind of sells out Aramis to his aunt and the teacher, and they show up.
Aramis? Aramis, please?
Aunt May tries to have this complete character reversal of the entire movie. She has not given a shit about Aramis. Actively been mean to him, and now is like, you're all I have, please come back.
Please? You're all I've got.
And I don't know. I don't believe her for an instant, man. I think this is some crazy shit that he would end up going back, like just like that, and that anyone would believe she's nice now. She doesn't seem that remorseful. She's made no transformation or arc as a character. It just goes from night to day, and it's fucking nuts, man. So then they leave the Port Authority or Penn Station, or I think it's Penn or Grand Central. It's one of the stations. So Aramis is now with Aunt May and the teacher. They don't say shit about Joseph, by the way. No one says anything about it. They walk outside of Grand Central. Aramis looks at the sky wistfully, starts talking about how he wants to change his life, and now he's not going to run anymore.
It feels so good to be out. So many things I want to do, like finish the project at the center for Joseph.
Says some stuff to Joseph, and they never actually say he's dead. It's just assumed that he's dead. The only thing that we've gotten is lip service by Aramis to a dead special needs child for the rest of this whole movie. And then they don't even give him a send-off. They don't give him a funeral. You don't get to see any of that. He's just dead, and they don't ever actually talk about him again. Aramis brings him up in voiceover, but he's never really spoken of again, except in one scene when Aramis is underground crying about it. That's it. Whoa. Can't believe that's what they... This movie was on TV, and it's made for kids. This was a TV movie, and it was made for children, and that's what goes down. A kid runs away after getting his friend killed, sort of, and then that's it. I don't know what lessons you're really supposed to learn. So yeah, that was Runaway. A kid runs away, lives in the sewer, a kid is treated like shit by his aunt. Again, I went with another crazy, depressing one. Would I suggest watching Runaway? I don't know. I don't think so. It's from the late 80s. You want to watch a movie about New York in the 80s, see some vintage B-roll, see some vintage shots of New York. You might like this. I don't know. It's crazy, sort of. It's wild that anybody showed this to children. It's interesting to talk about. Would I suggest you watch it? I'll take the bullet for you on this one and say no, you probably shouldn't. I'll watch it. I watched it for you. I summarized it for you. Unless you really like finding and collecting weird, rare VHS tapes, I don't know, man. I wouldn't. Unless you really like watching weird 80s shit. I don't know. I mean, you could watch this if you want. If you like seeing relics, of old New York, and you like to see it on film, why not? I don't know that there's a lot relevant to this film for kids, but yeah. Thanks for watching Video Hell Show. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to go for another weird instructional video next, I think, so stay tuned. And we'll see you soon. Have a good one.